Hey everyone, this is the Kubeflow community call for the 17th of February 2026. As usual, we're a CNCF project, means you have to follow these rules. Be nice to each other is pretty much the gist of it. For new people who've never seen this meeting before, we always like to just give a quick introduction of how to join various other meetings, because this is kind of like the hub meeting, if you will, where everyone tries to join. If you go on the Kubeflow website and click community at the top, then scroll down, and then you'll see a calendar view. You have to click this button. We should make it a bit bigger, I think. You can see the calls and their docs here, but you can get their invites by going to the calendar, which is that button. You get to this page once it loads. Then you can see not every week has every meeting, so you might have to move to different weeks to go to them. But then you can click on them and say you wanted to subscribe to the notebooks meeting. Actually, well, that one won't work for me. This one, let's say, you click register, and then once it loads, you can add your email and name, and you'll get the invite in your Google Calendar. Make sure that you, or any calendar, sorry. Make sure that you accept the invite if you're on Gmail though, because it'll come from an unknown sender. But then you'll get updates if things get moved around or changed, and it's useful. There's also a video on how to do it. There's also a Slack server, which is the CNCF Slack server. Similarly, go to the community page, scroll down to Slack channels, join the CNCF Slack, and then there are Kubeflow channels inside of it, one for each major component and a few other ones, so make sure you join announcements and whatever other components you care about. As always, as well, if anyone wants to quickly say hi in this meeting, we always welcome people to quickly unmute and just say hi if they're new, or they can type in the chat if they're uncomfortable. Anyone want to say hi?
I think we have Kapil new on this call. Kapil, can you introduce yourself if possible?
Yep. Hi all. I hope I am audible and visible here. So I have been working on Kubeflow, not working on. So I have been contributing to Kubeflow for the past 6 months, and particularly I have made some contributions in Trainer and some in SDK. And I am working alongside some of the other community members. And recently, we have organized a community booth and technical talks at DevConf along with Akash and some other community members, which we're gonna discuss later in this call. But yeah, hi, hey, thanks a lot for including me, and nice to meet you all.
Welcome. Anyone else want to say hi?
Hi, I was just wondering if I could.
Of course.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dilip. I'm from India. I've been contributing to pipelines, and I started mostly this year, but I've been reading the repository from December. So that's about it. Happy to contribute, and hopefully I'll be a part of GSAC.
Cool. Make sure you go to the pipelines meeting if you're not already.
Yeah, I'm a part of it. I think I did get a registered invite for that.
Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, hello. I'm Shiva from India, and I've been contributing since last December, mainly working on pipelines and KServe. Mostly interested right now in building the docs agent, since I believe we're starting off with the architecture. But I will continue with my current work in pipelines and KServe as well. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Cool. You want to say hi, Christian, as well, by the way? I know Christian's not new, but he did become a member over the weekend because of all his contributions. I think he might have just joined as well, so hi.
Hello, yeah, I just joined. My name is Chris, and I recently became a member of the Kubeflow organization, so far mostly contributing to the notebooks and the dashboard.
Cool. Thank you very much for your help there. Anyone else want to say hi?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Rishikesh. I'm a third year CA student. I'm just looking around for contributing. I'm interested in GPU workloads and all. Yep.
Cool.
Great to be here.
Yep. If you want to find things to contribute to, I recommend going to the community call. Sorry, the component call or working group call. That's what I'm trying to say. for each component that you want to contribute to. Okay, cool. Anyone else want to say hi? We probably don't have too much more time, but lots of people today. Yeah, keep going. I saw someone unmute. No, yes. Okay, maybe not. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the release. I think we do have people from the release team here now. So what's the current status on 2603 for people who are someone who wants to talk to this? I don't think Tarek is here. Who was on that call? Okay, if not, then we might need to circle back, but the release is coming up. Hopefully everyone is making progress towards being able to get their release stuff in. I know for dashboard and notebooks, we're going to be syncing in hopefully the manifests this week, which are very significantly changed. So manifest people will need to take some note to that because there's now 3 different repos. Anyone else got anything they want to update here about release?
So I actually just joined the release team. Hi, everyone. So I have a little bit less context, and so not much to update, but yeah, just to watch these dates.
Yep. Obviously, the hard deadline is the KubeCon, so we have to try and make sure everything's in before then. Okay, coming back to, so I think there's a release team. Oh, that's how you register for the release team meeting. I don't know how often they meet though, so it might be, we might need them to meet slightly more regularly up until the release. I'm not sure. Do you know when the next meeting is?
It should be next Monday.
Okay, let me check on the events. Okay, it is. Okay, so let's make sure that people go to that one because that's probably the last one. Okay, there is technically one more. Okay, 2. Every second week it looks like. Okay, anything else that we need to talk about here? I know that we probably do, but we might need to wait until someone else joins. Okay. Yes. One going once. Anyone going twice?
Okay,
Okay.
sorry, it works now.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, I had the wrong microphone. There's no major blockers as far as I'm aware.
Cool.
Everything seems to be going smoothly.
Do we know what, I think last time I was just kind of trying to build up this list here. Do we know what versions are going to be in for each of these, each component, or? I know I was just kind of doing that.
For most of them, yeah. Actually, with Kserve, there might be a blocker for 0.16, but we might just release with 0.15.2.
Cool. If people can add their versions, it'd be nice to know. Okay. Other than that, is there anything else that we need to do? Because we're doing a very compressed timeline here. So stuff like distribution testing, do we have any plans for that, or docs? Okay. I'm going to move on for now. Unless Dominic wants to say yeah.
Not that I'm aware of
Okay,
currently.
cool, yeah. All I know is that we're getting just pretty close, so we gotta be careful. Okay, this is also supposedly the version that'll be the major version for this whole year. So everyone has to hopefully try and get their versions in that are supportable for the whole year. I know we're working very hard to get Dashboard V2 in there and Notebooks V1 and Alpha V2. Okay. Sorry, not V, 1.11. There was just a blog that had to go out. I don't know if that has any progress that's been done. Let me check. It doesn't look like it's been merged yet. Any comments that haven't been made? I think last time we just agreed that we'll have a blog post rather than a whole video for now, and link to the video recording in the blog post of specific components. Anything changed there?
No.
Cool.
Hey, so on the blog post, it looked like that had come along pretty well. I haven't looked at it since a week, but what is the big theme for the blog post?
I think this was mostly a maintenance upgrade, and then the bigger upgrades are happening this one. But I think Trainer V2 might also be the first version in there. Andre, is that the case, or the first version with that? Sorry to throw you under the bus. Okay. But I have to check. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's right. I think we haven't released. I mean, I think Julius probably released as a patch version, but this would be the major one.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I put a comment on that, and at least when I put things up and watch what people read, often it's like, how do we make things easier? And some of those workflows like that connection of model registry with being able to deploy and monitor the inference models using Kserve seem to be like, hey, we're connecting two components and we're making a workflow that actually makes people's lives easier. I'm not sure that's where we should go. I'm just throwing it out as that's kind of interesting.
Yep. Do you
And
do you have a
I
specific?
think you get a value add when you bring two components together.
Yep. I mean, the SDK is obviously doing that. I don't think SDK made it into this version. Is that right, Andrew?
No, I think we can also announce the SDK right here.
If you want, if it's there, yeah.
We probably need to tell Eric now that she should include SDK.
But yeah, anyone could add a PR comment as well. I think if you want to add that, please do. It's a good idea. Seems like there's a lot of different sections here. Okay, there is sections. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Okay, cool. I'm gonna leave that blog for now. I don't want to waste too much time on it right here, but please review if you have things like wanting to add more components. I think we need to get this out soon, so I'm sure this week sometime we'll probably merge it. So please, because we don't want it to get in the way of the release of the 2603. So if you have comments, Josh, please make them. Andre, please make suggestions. Anyone else got anything they want to add about the blog? Once, twice. Okay, I'm gonna move to the next one. Okay, I don't know if Ramesh is here right now, but we always like to give a quick update on GSOC, just because people often join. I think the dates haven't changed. I don't know if we've got a response back for, oh, that's the end of this week. Okay, so in a couple of days, we'll know if we're officially accepted. We won't know how many people we get until way after that, though. But applications open soon, so that's good to see lots of people from GSOC here. Anyone got any comments they want to add here about GSOC? Go to the website for more information about the projects that we listed that are possible projects you could suggest or make proposals against. Cool. Okay. Outreach program. I don't know if Valentina is here, but I know that they meet. The next meeting is this 27th. So outreach committee is important because they manage all of our events and media stuff. So anyone want to say anything about this? If not, I'm just going to move on. That's just make sure you attend that meeting if you want to help out with that stuff. I know that KubeCon Europe is very, very soon. So it's getting to the point where it's quite expensive. So I think it may have already been, I think we're already at the most expensive one.
Matthew, we had some things to say about like the outreach program. So
Okay, cool.
me, Akash, and Kapil were initially there for the DevConf event that happened that was hosted by Red Hat. So we wanted to share the metrics and use it for KubeCon India.
Okay, we'll come back to that in 2 seconds. I just wanted to quickly highlight KubeCon Europe.
Okay.
Do you have any comments about KubeCon Europe? You're on that meeting?
About KubeCon Europe, yes, there are social media posts that I have created, and after that we will be doing a announcement like for the countdown for KubeCon Amsterdam, the Kubeflow day. So that I'll be starting to put out soon.
Cool. So it's coming soon. Okay, I think we were working on a booth schedule last time as well. We did get a booth. Is there any updates on that?
Yeah, the timings are yet to be confirmed.
I thought this was the dates or time?
Yeah.
So I think we do have dates.
So some more people will be adding on. So
Yep. So if you're going and you're a maintainer, please, and you're willing to do it, please help out. It's always very fun to talk to new people and share the project with them. We also did get a maintainer session, so register for, well, put this on your what is it called? Schedule thing? I forget what it's called. Sketch. Yes, that's the one. Okay. And here's the schedule for the Kubeflow day. If you haven't seen this, that's the actual registration. So we have lots of talks, some of which are about Kubeflow, some of which are about Kubernetes AI. Anything else want to add here? It's come. What are we gonna? Quick question. What are we gonna do for the 2603 stuff? Is that mainly just gonna be in the maintainer session?
for what?
Like the new version of Kubeflow, you know, like the platform thing.
Oh, I think I'll need to discuss with Valentina first because she didn't tell me much about it.
Because we are planning a release just before KubeCon, so it's probably a good idea to
Okay.
have some media materials and things like that.
Okay,
And
then
also
I'll
talking, yeah.
I'll reach out to Tarek since he's part of the Kubeflow release team, and I'll make the social media post and promote it on socials.
Cool. Also, yeah, in the conference as well, but yeah, we should.
Okay.
I think. Oh yeah, we haven't got anything on here yet. Okay, cool. Anyone else got anything for KubeCon Europe? Let's move on to this. If not, yes. So. Okay.
Sure.
Oh,
Yes, shall I start or do you want to take it over? I can start with KubeCon India, then we can move for DevCon.
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah,
what?
so yeah, sure. I'll start. So for KubeCon India, like we are yet to get confirmation for the booth. I think we're hopeful it will get soon. CFPs are open for at least maintain track. We're planning for that. Let's see how it goes. We'll get it reviewed soon by Tariq and Valentina. So that's about KubeCon India. I think one of the major events that happened last week was DevCon in Pune last week. That's where I think I asked Kapil to join, where we had a lot of good update, lot of good audience from the community who were talking about Kubeflow and the talks and other things. So maybe Kapil, can you share your thoughts on like what did we do in the events?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, Akash. So I have already attached a doc where I have added high-level updates of what we have done at the Kubeflow DevConf. So Kubeflow presence was there at DevConf, and we had around 5 talks, technical talks, and those details are present in the technical session in the high engagement and strong reception. Also about the booth, we also had a booth. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see the engagement pictures over there. There was a really high engagement at the booth, and if you scroll to the bottom, what we had at booth, there were, if I can just explain you the metrics. So this is the flyer. So what we did at the reception, we sent out this flyer to everyone who wanted to understand about Qflow. So at the back of the flyer, this was the game. If they complete the game, they were getting a swag. And also at the booth, we also presented a dashboard where people would answer a survey, and as per that we were classifying them as a potential speaker for our next upcoming meetup. So we are a local community group of we are explaining people about the Qflow and MLOps in general, and that's our agenda going forward. And this was a huge success. We got around 230 registrations for our next meetup, and also we could gather around 70 plus speakers, potential speakers, who would be interested in speaking at our next community meetup. So you can see at the pictures, we also had multiple games which engaged crowd as well. And some of those games were like make your own MLOps pipeline, and another game was classify the MLOps requirement versus ML requirement. So there was pretty much interesting crowd engagement over there because of these. And what me and Akash and Yash were discussing, we want to have the same type of setup in the KubeCon India as well. So this was the high level updates of our Kubeflow community at DevConf. So yeah, thanks for.
Yeah, this was really great. And I mean, again, I think I have told before also, we expect a similar set of audience in the KubeCon India. So I mean, this was kind of like pre-KubeCon session. We were really amazed at like amount of people, the question they were asking. The like I think more than 500 people who visited our booth. We also had a very dummy website or like a graph kind of thing where they can understand the flow of Kubeflow platform, like which component or what to use, like a visual way how to understand for someone who is beginner. So the response we got was very good. We hope to continue this further for other events in from the community, as well as I think this will be a very good starting point for when planning for KubeCon India.
Cool. Is this like a website? Is this
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
you can open that website. So this is not. I will also share that website in the link. So what we did, we actually captured the metrics of what people interests were. So out of those 500, 227 registered over here, and here at the top right you can see those are the experienced people with having some strong experience in MLOps, and those are our potential speaker in our community meetups. And other sections in the left hand side are the students who interacted with us, and they are interested in community meetings and also contributing to Qflow as well. So this is one of the metrics we gathered at the booth.
cool?
Mhm.
There was some mention about like a piece of
Yes, I
Java.
will share that link as well. Give me a second.
Sounds interesting.
I think this is the repo link. I'm not sure if it is deployed, but we had like good visualization to understand about Kubeflow platform. Maybe Kapil can share the exact website.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
Yes,
we had.
I have shared it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have shared it.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
put it on. Made a visualization for Kubeflow components. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
So with this, we were able to explain how the uh, Kubeflow components flow works like. So it was an entire pipeline, and people were interacting it with very interestingly. So I think yeah.
Cool.
So our agenda is that we want to have the same type of setup at the KubeCon, and we will be discussing more about in the outreach as well. But here, Andrew and other folks are also there. We want to have more opinion and comments on this.
Yeah, actually, I have a few questions. I think this is great again, Kapil. Thanks a lot for your help and like driving all these efforts across DevCon. I saw a lot of engagement on LinkedIn, Twitter, and other social media platforms. Can you tell us more about the audience for this conference and what folks actually been interesting? How many of them actually know about Qflow, and what was the main point of discussions there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Glad you asked that question. So I will answer that question from two perspectives. One particularly from the experience perspective, who were industry leaders and who were attending DevConf to understand the uh, latest industry standards that is coming along. So they were already having their MLOps pipeline, but the major problem they were facing is the GPU scheduling. And we mentioned about the queue part and how they can use queue to manage their GPUs much better. So those were the one of the key factor. And for the students part, one of the key questions that we heard a lot, that was regarding the contributions. They were able to contribute to many good first issues, but they still lacked materials and documentations to contribute in some bigger issues which are not good first or smaller issues. So I think having those technical talks and community meetups will drive these contributions much better in future. So those were the two major highlights we heard from the audiences. And about the speaker, the general audience of the DevCons was purely technical. They were very senior leadership from Red Hat were there. Vincent, he was the CTO. He was also there. He visited the booth as well, and he acknowledged the booth over social media multiple times.
Yeah, makes sense. And like, is it mostly like DevOps people or people from ML engineering background?
So majority were from Red Hat because it was a Red
Okay.
Hat sponsored event. But other people, like we interacted with senior engineer from Deep Cloud, and also other communities leaders were also there, such as React India community was also there. So we interacted with them as well. And I cannot think of any other senior uh, engineers from any other companies, but many industry leaders were present over there. Yeah.
And
Okay,
like
and go ahead, Akash.
adding to Kapil's question, Kapil's answer, basically there are like two sets of audience. One is like there are like good number of students from the college and like nearby college in Pune, and there are a lot of Red Hat folks, like those who are like biggest students. But there are a lot of senior folks who came as speaker because generally this was 2 day event. So the moment their talks got finished, they were looking around booth. So one of the major, I think, the major chunk was like other speakers and other senior engineers. Few of them I can classify into ML engineer. Few of them are already into ML ops. Where a few of them are like generic DevOps engineers. So that was the third category. But majorly, like few of them are students and a lot of Red Hat folks were there.
Okay,
If that
makes sense. And that makes sense. And like, do you see like how many of them actually aware of what we do here? Like, or the majority of them actually the first time for them hearing about Kubeflow.
For this, I think student part, that's where I think one thing which I really like what Kapil and his team did. Like all of even me and yes, we are very happy that for student, what we had few games. Like they had to arrange few words or like few stages of ML pipeline using cards and everything. So that was mostly focused on students, which they were not aware or they just knew ML ops. Second thing, which like I think we were very happy that a lot of senior folks already knew about Kubeflow, already knew about at least two component. Like they're already using SDK or they're already using, let's say, pipeline. They were looking more, or they were asking what is other update from Kubeflow, or let's say they were using combination of Kubeflow and some other tool. So the question was, do we have any alternative for this in Kubeflow itself? So that's where one thing which we heard from a lot of senior folks.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Cool. Okay. Any other comments about KubeCon India? I mean, that one's in June. It's a wee while away. What's next steps for that one?
We have to submit the CFP for maintenance track. I think both probably will get, but that will be like end of March. So yeah, that's to update for now.
And you guys are going to submit that?
Yeah, that's where me, yes, and a couple are there. Like for the talk, we three are there, and for the booth, depending on how we are accommodated, we'll see. Because this team like manage the booth very well. So there are two things going in parallel. For talk, we are looking. We are three, at least for now, we three are there. We would love to if anyone can help us who is attending the KubeCon India or any of the maintainers. But yeah, and regarding both also, same. Our team is there. We'll see how it goes.
Cool. Okay. I saw that Tarek joined. Is there anything updates about KubeCon EU that we pretty much we were just saying it's soon. I don't know if we had any other updates there, and that there's a booth.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's new updates for KubeCon EU, just like the kiosk or the booth sheet that folks need to update for joining. I think that's all for the KubeCon EU. Then for the virtual event, so we shared on the outreach channel that like the description and what the timing of the event. So it would be the suggestion is 19th of August, 15 GMT. So 15 GMT would mostly cover like US time zones and EU time zones and India time zone as well. So that's the proposal so far in the outreach in Slack. So we have a deadline that I need to submit this document by 20th. So I think I will we wait for any feedback or if anyone knows any event that might collide with the virtual event, then we can adjust. But so far, there's nothing in like CNCF agenda for that could collide with our event. So I think we can proceed with this, but we can keep it open until maybe 19th, like days, and then we will submit on 19th, I guess.
So
The description?
India. So after KubeCon India, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it will be almost KubeCon India is in, so it's like almost 2 months. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the link that's shared in the document here that contained the description, there was one comment from Francisco that I applied, and also from Andre. So if there is any other comments, then we can modify the submission here as well.
I guess the main question is making sure that we have people to review the CFPs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So so far we Ace and then Francisco, David and me would be in the committee. But if anyone would like to join as well, please reach out, and it will be reviewing the CFPs. So that would be really appreciated.
Cool. Anything else you want to add about that one? I would love to jump back to the release at some point, because I know that you didn't really get to give an update on the release, but I will let Andre probably go first. How long do you think these topics will take, Andre? Or
yeah, maybe 10 minutes. Like, do you think the release will take more time?
Let's look. I mean, we can do the release at the end, I guess, but I don't want to lose time for that. Is there any?
Yeah, let me quickly. Yeah, go ahead, Matthew.
Okay, you go. Pick one. Where is it? Here it is. Yes, there it is.
Yeah, I just want to quickly, talk about several things happening on the training side. So first of all, we're planning to release 2.2 before KubeCon. I think sometime in March. I think it will be actually one of the biggest release for us, because we're gonna have a lot of features coming in. So like, for example, like we're going to support additional frameworks for API like Flux to allow, like to submit kind of some sort of, high performance computing jobs within trainer controller. So it's pretty interesting because, this allow us to actually support other flavors of API like PMIX, which right now not possible with the API operator. So it's interesting to see how, folks from HPC want to chime in and, like drive this direction, those work streams. I think other things I want to talk about to the two is around XGBoost. So Matti, if you open this issue, I think identify all of the kind of like big items we plan to release. Yeah, so yeah, the Flux is one. The train job progress is also extremely interesting, because actually this will be a unique feature which other CRDs don't have. So we plan to kind of like pull metrics from users. Like we plan to define the running status of the job, which is the huge problem in Kubernetes in general. And we plan to, have a callback to progress, to identify that the actual ML job is running. So it's pretty interesting. And we have some ideas of how this can be integrated with checkpointing, with snapshotting, with other, interesting capabilities. So really looking forward to this. Other topics around XGBoost. So, in training operator, we do support XGBoost job. So we still plan to introduce new ML policy in train job as well for XGBoost distributed. So, and I know like XGBoost, they've done some, enhancement to support distributed GPUs recently. So this also will be interesting to see. And I think there are several improvements in cache as well, like tensor caching, we call it. So yeah, this I think also pretty interesting and cool feature. So like actually is working on giving an ability to cache not only Parquet files, but also tensors. So which means like when you do fine tuning of the job, usually you do you do tokenization before you getting your tokens to a model and training a model or fine tune a model. So our idea is to, instead of doing this tokenization on the GPU workloads, we want to offload this to CPU cache, which means like you don't need to waste your GPU workloads to do tokenization. It will be kind of done automatically for you on behalf of the user. And we will store tensors directly in this cache service, which means like this, the tensors can be directly transferred to GPU workloads, which is pretty interesting. And I hope we can, include this as part of 2.2 as well. Yeah, so I think I also have another point around for rescale. Any questions for 2.2? All right. So then about like VAS and TAS. So there is I don't know if you've been following what Kubernetes is doing, but Kubernetes is introducing a new concept called workload-aware scheduling. So they plan to introduce the workload API and the pod group API, which actually initially allows you to, have a native Kubernetes native gang scheduling, which actually allows you to do all or nothing scheduling. And we need to integrate this, but eventually, like this workload API is planning to support other things like DRA, like dynamic resource allocation, preemption, topology-aware scheduling. So there are a lot of different caps happening in Kubernetes, and we work with them with SIG scheduling and like other SIGs to ensure like the root controllers actually support this feature. So our goal is to support this on train job directly. So I'm planning to actually create the cap very soon. So if interesting, I will definitely share this later. But the goal is to, like all of the workloads you run in Kubernetes, if you require these capabilities like topology-aware scheduling, preemption, gang scheduling, you have to consider workload as the object for you to tell kubescaler how it should be created. So it's pretty interesting, and I hope other workload owners and Kubeflow will also chime in and start working on this, because I think this is very important for ML specifically workloads. It doesn't matter, it's inference, training, agentic, data processing, it's everything. Yeah, so I think this is pretty much it. I think I also want to talk about Kubeflow SDK, but any questions or here?
Yeah, maybe a question, Andre. So,
Yeah.
this is really, really interesting. Like specifically, for example, for the Spark workloads. But the Spark folks were working with the Q to have the same capability. So, do we have that capability in in the trainer, or in that they are looking into moving it to workload instead, or?
Yeah. So Spark operator maintainers have to integrate workload API to the Spark application CRD. I don't see a lot of engagement from them, unfortunately, right now, but we need to talk to Vara, to Yuchen, to Manabu, so they will be aware of this effort. Because Spark, from my perspective, Spark application, they should also create a workload. Like today, I think they support gang scaling with Unicorn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Volcano, Unicorn Q.
Yeah, Volcano Unicorn. But this is basically native kube scalar capability, which will be very useful for Spark as well.
Yes.
Do you want to explain for people what that means, what gang scheduling is?
Yeah, it's basically all or nothing. Imagine you have a workload which require five pods, and all those 5 pods should be available when you schedule the workload. Because without the 5 pods, you cannot actually run, for example, PyTorch job. So basically, it's kind of all or nothing scheduling, and gang scheduling is used everywhere. So it's on inference, training, data processing. And previously, other projects like Volcano or Q or Unicorn, co-scheduling plugins implement this gang scheduling capability. But Kubernetes community finally decided to move this to core, to kubescaler core, which actually simplify a lot of work for us to maintain.
How difficult is it to implement? How do you tell Kubernetes about your PID?
Yeah. So it's very simple actually. So from the workload perspective, you just create the workload API, and then you create the pod group API. And the pod group API has a reference to the workload. And right now, workload only has the API called scheduling policy. You see scheduling policy gang, it's on the workload spec. Yeah. So it's here. So, and then you define, what is the minimum count, how many, what is the minimal available count of pods needs to be scheduled before this workload, can be placed by kubescaler. And I think eventually also they have we've been discussing a lot, other things with them around elasticity and introducing other things like desired count. But I don't want to spend time here much, but this is an initial support of just gang scheduling. But eventually other things like resource claims also will go here, and also preemption also will be here, and topology-aware scheduling as well. So there are a lot of caps. I think it's 4 to 5 caps in Kubernetes happening for this API. So
is there integration with controller runtime to do this easily yet, or not?
Yeah, you don't really need to have integration with control runtime, right? When you create your CRD, you just need to create this workload API.
Oh, so it's label based, you mean? And
it's not actually. So no, so below you can see the spec scheduling. So on the pod spec, on the pod spec, you define, so if you scroll a bit down.
Yep.
Yeah, so the scheduling groups, they call it right now. So basically in the pod spec, you have an API called scheduling group, which reference pod to the specific pod group, which means it tells Kubescheduler how those pods should be placed.
Because it blocks them. I was about to say, how does it
Yeah,
block
yeah,
them otherwise? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. Basically, it blocks them unless like all the resources are available, right?
Cool. Awesome. And so
Hey,
for
Andre, I got a question about preemption. And just would you use that with when you're training an LLM? And what about these super large LLMs? How would that preemption actually, I mean, is there challenges with that? Because there's so much to store and bring back alive.
Yeah, 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 I mean, absolutely right. So there is a proposal. Let me maybe try to see it quickly. So preemption can done in like in various ways, right? I know like for example like KQ can preempt the workloads while like using the suspend semantic. Also, I guess like you can directly use priority classes, right, in Kubernetes. I'm not like an expert here, but basically like it allows you to do preemption based on the different priorities. So for this work stream, they try to do preemption not on the pods but on the entire pod groups, which means like you can preempt the imagine you have a workload which has like like maybe driver and multiple workers, and you can sometimes preempt. So some of the frameworks support elasticity, like for example like Spark. Like in Spark you can preempt some executors, and at the same time the job will still be running because Spark has this feature called dynamic resource allocation. Similar to this, like as far as I know, PyTorch also support like torch elastic, which means like you can preempt some of the GPU workloads from the your fine-tuning job without losing the progress. Like other frameworks like Horovod also support this, but it really depends on the application. But from the preemption perspective, like it really depends what application you run and how you can preempt the like the part of your workloads. But the goal of this, Josh, like just to put preemption on the pod groups instead of pods here.
and it's not available yet, to be clear. This is only about gang
Yeah,
scheduling.
it's yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's a good question because as soon as you're defining groups of resource, then you need to deal with how you interrupt that group. Yes.
Yeah, I think they call it VAS preemption, so workload overscaling preemption, and I can link the cap for this.
That's not approved, that cap yet, I guess.
I think it's approved already.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if yeah, I think it's going to be in the 136. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then we should probably move on. Anything else you want to add here about Trainer, and then jump in quickly at this because I don't want to waste too much time.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Again, like I would love other workload owners to also chime in and just let me know if you have any other questions for this because we need to get engaged, from Spark, even from notebooks, actually. I think we need you to actually also take a look at this. So anyway, so I think for SDK, just quickly, I think so. If you remember, like a couple of weeks ago, I was telling you that we're doing the Spark Connect support within Kubeflow SDK, which actually allows users to have one API to connect to the existing Spark cluster. And behind the scenes, we're using the Spark Connect CRD from Spark Operator project. So Check Harris, implemented all the required capabilities for us to create Spark Connect CRD and then using PySpark to connect to this cluster. And from the user experience perspective, they just have one Connect API, which allows them to have like stateful connection, and then they can execute run the transformations there. So it's pretty cool. I think we're planning to have also release soon for this feature because we also integrate model registry recently in Kubeflow SDK. So I think I'm really looking forward to see how we can allow us to have more like easier to use like Spark on Kubernetes with this SDK. I think it's pretty interesting experience. And we see a lot of like feedback from users which can simplify the work, right, with Spark Connect.
There's this preemption thing, by the way. It's cap 5710.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anything? So is this has already been done, I guess?
Yeah, we're going to release it like it's part of 0.4, I think, sometime in March.
Cool. So that means that you've got a connection between Kubeflow SDK and Spark now.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. In 0.4, we're going to have trainer, optimizer, model registry, and Spark, which is already 4 components. It's pretty cool. Like you can actually build like a lot of interesting experience with 4 of them. So I think this is pretty cool. And I think we're also working on pipelines integration. So the pipelines, there are 2 set of integrations we're doing with pipelines components and also with KFP client. And I don't want to spend that time here. Maybe we can talk about the now ML experience calls, but this is our future vision here. Just a main gateway for all of the Kubeflow projects when you need this experience, right? Developer experience.
We should probably make sure that it's installed in some of the notebook images then.
Yeah, absolutely. We should do it.
Cool. Okay, so I'll ask you closer to the time, but I'm assuming you're okay with taking. When are you planning 0.4? Is it soon or?
Yeah. I think hopefully in 2 weeks once we finalize the Spark.
We can update it at the last minute, I guess. It's a bit scary, but yeah, we can do it. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So release. I do want to quickly come back to that. So these are the dates. Is any updates, Tarek, about the 2603 release?
No, like it's as is for the status. So we still didn't have a reply back from KServe working group, and the blocker for the 0.16 is still also resisted. So most likely, then we will go with the 0.15 release for that. Then, yeah, I think we also need to check with Julius regarding like the notebooks manifest efforts that would be needed. So that I think we need to secure, because I think you mentioned that we would like to do the sync like maybe before, like 2 weeks at least before RC1. So this means like we should do it like early next week or something, right?
Yep, that's my goal here is that we've merged very significant amounts of the refactors for the dashboard repo already. We've only got 1 left, and then once that's done, we can start syncing them. We need to like cut a release and then start syncing an alpha version or the test version of dashboard notebooks v1 and notebooks v2 into the manifest repo.
Yes,
and then we need to restructure the folders.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean also like regarding the notebook standalone, do you would like would we have time to do this like in this release, like moving Dex and
I think it's more about the dashboard standalone, and then notebook standalone is kind of dashboard plus that,
Okay.
It's like standalone dashboard plus standalone notebooks. But notebooks v2 will be the one that does that, and since v2 is an alpha at the beginning, it so all I'm saying is that the goal should be at minimum we need to sync from the new repos, and we'll start doing that as soon as possible. And then as part of that, it shouldn't be that hard to just move the DEX and OAuth2 proxy code into that repo. Because it's mainly just saying that you change where you point to it from. That's all.
Yeah, but the like, should we aim for this in the next release, or?
I think we can do it in this one. I think we can. I think it's not that bad, but let's discuss this in the pull request when we do the sync. But I guess we should talk offline. But my plan is to move that code as it's almost 1-for-1, and then it'll be in the other repo. So there'll be 2 versions of the code, right? So you can it would probably be best to delete the version from the manifest repo once you sync it in again. But
okay. Yeah, I think we really need to have a meeting with Julius for that, like hopefully this week maybe.
But at some point in the next week, or like in the next week, this week, we'll probably copy the DEX and OAuth2 proxy code into the manifest into the dashboard repo. You can do what you want with it, I guess, but it'd be probably best if you use that as the source of truth.
Okay. Yep.
Cool. Okay. Any other comments about this? So I don't have every version. I just added this SDK one because it's kind of in the notebook image, but I guess pipelines and others we don't know yet, but.
Yeah, I think we like the reason why we didn't have like all the versions, because this is still work in progress by the working groups. So we still have until this week. I think we will have the version defined maybe next week in the next release team meeting on Monday, where we have like the target versions at least.
Okay, cool. So wait, has Optimizer been actually, Kata been formally renamed?
Yeah, it's a good question. So yeah, we're still debating what should be the future of, Catty project. So I think for now we will stick with Catty, but we need to see, what we will do next there, because we want to build a Kubernetes native API for hyperparameter optimization, which called optimization job, but we need to still decide where this should live.
Okay.
Okay. You can include the version if you want, Matthew, like if this needs
What's the version?
0.19.
0.19. Is that a new release or is that?
Yeah, I think it was in October. I don't know if we're gonna have another one
Okay.
before March.
Cool. Okay. Any other things about the release? I think it seems like lots of stuff is happening.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit squeezed to release this one, but yes.
So how are we going to do this testing thing, or is it just going to be in the manifest repo testing?
Yeah, exactly. So that's like the recommendation from Julius is that let's depend on our own automation pipeline for testing, the end-to-end testing that we have in the manifests, because usually the distributions are like wait for the release and then they start like the actual testing. So I checked with some that will be participating in the release. So we have 2 distributions that are confirmed to be joining the release, but with Red Hat and Canonical. The rest I haven't get reply back, but yeah, be following that. But mostly, like at least or the feedback that I got from Canonical was that they do the testing like after the release, not an RC, specifically for this one because this is a little bit super squeezed one. So they will mostly do the checks like after we do the release, not an RC one.
I know that they wanted to merge in a thing on notebooks and dashboard for support for Gateway API as well. So I think we're trying to get that in if we can, which is just a flag which turns off virtual services and starts using Gateway API for notebooks and dashboard. But hopefully that will be fine. And that will land its way in. It may not land its way in this test sync, but it'll probably be in this one. Okay. Cool. It won't be on by default, be clear. Okay. Anyone else got anything they need to add? I'll stop the recording if not.
I have one quick request. It's not ready to discuss right now, but in the SDK, we probably need to make a decision on the proposal like I'm making, which is about like using AuthKit for authentication and maybe thinking about like getting it into Kubeflow community if that could be a nice place to land it. I'll paste the link in here so people can take a look. So it's in the chat in the So this is a library that summarizes or actually enables people to authenticate for using different types of authentication to Kubernetes, and hence all the SDKs that rely on Kubernetes, like Trainer SDK, Kata SDK, and so on. It supports OIDC, OAuth, Service Principal, kubeconfig. So whatever authentication you have, we'll just pick it up and fly with it. And it could provide these authentication to the SDKs and clients. So we unify authentication across all SDKs, and has very minimal interface, like just two functions or two calls that you need to make, and that's it. You provide your authentication, you get an API client. It's actually one, or yeah, you can call it two. It's we're more than happy to donate it to Kubeflow if needed. But yeah, that would be, I think, nice to have a single mechanism to authenticate.
probably leave that up to the SDK people. Maybe you should discuss this in that meeting.
Yeah, we do that. We discuss it in the meeting, but it just like impacts all projects in the community. That's why I wanted to raise it here. If people like from different projects would like to jump in and just give their feedback.
So you proposing replacing the way that Pipelines does this as well with this?
Pipeline right now actually expects a token when you authenticate from the clients. This library still gives you a token if you want to get a token. Like you can just there's an PR to add like get a token, which would be like the third interface. So you still could keep the existing stuff as it is, but the SDK could centralize this authentication mechanism.
Okay, anyway, Andre, we're pretty over time.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I think yes, sorry, like to interrupt. I think we should talk, yes, I think Sad, we should talk about model registry with model registry people and pipelines people about it.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think that will be different compared to Spark, Optimizer, and Trainer. And like, yes, we can talk about where this project should live. Yep.
Do we invite them to the SDK meeting or do we go to the
Yeah, let's
their
try
meeting?
to join pipelines call if
sure.
Can, yep.
Yeah, presenting probably a good idea.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
if it's for SDK specifically, that's its own thing. But if it's for everyone,
I think our goal is to migrate KFP client to Kubeflow SDK. So
sure. I mean, that's a long-term question, but yeah, like in the short term, though, I think if it's something that you guys depend on, I don't see a problem. But come to your own design. Cool. Anyone else got anything? We're over time, so I'm just gonna say anything super urgent. Thank you, everyone.